Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is March 13, 2025, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we saw the U.S. markets take a pause yesterday and just taper off. But first, looking at today's major economic events, we're looking at 2:30 South African time from the United States, a Producers Price Index. That's an inflation report on the producer side. Now, yesterday we had a CPI, came out quite favorable and the markets reacted. So taking a look at the Forex symbols, the major pairs are unchanged. While looking at the U.S. indices, the Dow Jones holds on for and pauses from that sell-off while we got a bounce on the NASDAQ. Now looking at commodities, gold gains, while oil gets that bounce on that supportish level. And as we look at the stocks, it's Tesla and NVIDIA. The gap up and they hold on to their gains, and maybe that will be a recovery beginning. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin gets a bounce as well. So let's take a look at markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the GBP USD. Now, a couple things about it. We're looking at a weekly chart, and we are at a resistance-ish level at these levels. So just keep in mind that we may just retrace from here. However, this may be a pause as well. So you got to really time it right because, you know, we're in the area. We're not exact. Nothing's ever a science when it comes to trading. So looking at a 4-hour chart, we're consolidating here at that upper limit, and that may be a potential area for us to reverse. But you got to keep a finger on the pulse to see how that actually is going to work itself out. Now moving over to commodities, gold did get a little bit of a gain yesterday from 2,900 to about 2,930-ish level. Decent move, okay, all in days, but it's really hard to anticipate these type of moves, and it's not holding itself, okay? It's not, doesn't look like it's, you know, giving ourselves a opportunity for it to gain further. So that's something to consider for today as well. Now looking at crude oil, we finally got that bounce, and we're at $67 a barrel from our 65-ish low. Okay, we tested it a couple of times, but we didn't break lower, and sure enough, we're at that 67. Now, we're going to be consolidating here. There was no rocket scientist to this. It wasn't a perfect move because it broke a little bit lower. So there was not much of a supportish area to actually buy it. Now, looking at the U.S. market, starting out with the Dow Jones, we got a little bit of a gain yesterday. Okay, we're giving it up right now in after hours trading, but we did get a little bit of a bounce. If we look at a daily chart, the sell-off is still there, but it's not as aggressive. Okay, so the question is whether or not this is kind of consolidating or taking a pause, and we should expect a bounce. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, we got a bounce yesterday. Okay, if you look at a daily chart, we got it. We gave it up right now in early markets trading, but we did get a bounce yesterday, and that was really on the back of two stocks. Okay, number one, we had NVIDIA, which gave us a really nice bounce yesterday and held on to that bounce as well. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, NVIDIA is a very big company, and it's adding a lot of pressure onto the markets because of that. The question is whether or not this is a dead cat bounce or is it going to be a correctional move? Because yesterday we had decent CPI numbers, and the market was up in the morning, but it didn't sustain it. Okay, so I'm not sure whether or not this is just, you know, short selling covering, or it's just, you know, a response to the markets of so much selling over the past couple of weeks. Now, if we do look at Tesla also, we saw the same thing, but Tesla, again, didn't go higher. If you look at a 4-hour chart, you could see it. It almost traded unchanged for the day, even though it gapped up. But during the day, it didn't continue giving us that follow-through into either making a new high towards the end of the day. So it was a little bit harder of a day to gauge because the market initially gapped up, sold off, and then, you know, kind of rebounded from that, but the market didn't rebound, meaning the general stocks didn't rebound. So that's really super important to keep a note of it. Now, looking at the other majors, like Meta, got that bounce, but sold off. Okay, so it's a little bit, you know, mixed. Okay, right now in the markets, I'm having a hard time coming out with the words today. If we look at Amazon also, we got a gap up, but it couldn't sustain itself. Okay, so today's going to be a very telling sign as to which way we're going to go. Now, lastly, taking a look at Bitcoin, we finally got that bounce at 77K. Okay, not that that was any particular area that we should have got a bounce because there's no support there. However, we're just below our 200-day moving average on a daily. And on a weekly, we're right there at that 30-day moving average. Now it makes sense, right? When you look at the 30-day moving average and there's that blue line and it bounces off of it, that makes sense, okay? Because on a weekly chart, it's much more effective and much more meaningful when you have that 30-day moving average. So we did bounce off of it. Let's see if we can sustain it. Maybe we can even get a little bit of a rally in the next couple of weeks, okay, as this still unfolds. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.